If I had any constructive criticisms for my haters, what would it be? Don't be such a dickhead. Hey guys, this is Frozen Wish Studios here, and welcome back to another movie review. And today, I am going to be doing a review on F1 the movie. So F1 the movie is a movie that is based on Formula One, like the famous Formula One, and it's another racing movie, and it is directed by Joseph Kosinski, who you may know as the director of Top Gun Maverick, and has also directed other films like Oblivion and Tron Legacy. I almost said John Reese by accident, by the way. And also Spiderhead, which I saw for the first time yesterday, and it was not very good. And also Only the Brave too, and it came out in the year 2025 last week, and it stars Brad Pitt, Damson Idris, Kerry Condon, Javier Bardem, and Shia Wickham, and also a bunch of real life F1 stars. One of them being Lewis Hamilton. I mean real life F1 racers, not stars, yeah. But technically they're stars too. And it tells the story of racing legend Sonny Hayes, who back like in the early days, like in 90s, 80s, 70s, like that. I forgot when exactly. Yeah, Sonny Hayes was a legend, but then he got into a major racing accident. He had a near fatal death, and it has cost him to quote unquote retire from racing for all over years. But now in present day, as an oldish man, he is recruited by Javier Bardem's character Ruben to come back into the world of Formula One in order to help a team called the Apex, I think, yeah, um, Apex with one of them being JP, played by Damson Idris, to be able to become winners of F1, to become like the best F1 racers, F1 team possible. But right now, they are a weak team that hasn't even cracked the top 10. And what seems to be a story about an underdog story where a loser is being helped by the main character to turn into a winner, ends up actually becoming a redemptive story where Sonny Hayes must go back to his racing roots and pretty much redeem himself and be like redeem himself in order to become the best racer possible. So yeah. So now, just so you guys know, I am not super familiar with F1. I don't really watch racing. But I know people who specifically in my in person life who are F1 fans. And yeah, so yeah, but even if I am not really into F1, since I don't watch F1 and I'm not familiar with it, I am personally not taken out of this film. I was never taken out of it because I kind of enjoy racing movies, specifically live action racing movies. Now, when it comes to my stance on this genre, I think it's a decent genre. It has its hits or miss. I think when it comes to the animated racing movies, yeah, they're not very good. Like y'all know how much I'm not a fan of the Cars trilogy. I still stand by my thoughts on Cars 2 being a pretty being a guilty pleasure. I just love how it does something different and takes risks. But when it comes to Cars 1 and 3, yeah, not yeah. Cars 1 is highly overrated and Cars 3 is overrated too. I just don't really care about like this whole idea of talking cars. It just does not work for me. And don't get me fucking started on Planes, which I think is the worst racing movie ever. But when it comes to the live action racing movies, yeah, I actually enjoyed it from Tom Cruise's Days of Thunder to Will Ferrell's Baghdad Night. I probably butchered the name, but whatever. And then there's also Rush, which is another F1 movie. I from Ron Howard. I mean, I liked Rush a lot. I really liked Rush. I think that movie is a rewatch, but I remember it being damn good. And though, did Rush get me interested in F1? No, but it did make me But it was still a very interesting movie, a very great, well made film, and one of the absolute best Ron Howard movies. Um, and yeah, and then there's also Gran Turismo as well, from 2023. Another really great racing movie. A movie about racing. A movie about video game racing. And by the way, guys, I should mention as well. I'm actually a fan of video game racing, like the racing genre in for video games. So yeah, which is why I really enjoy Gran Turismo. And then there is my favorite racing movie of all time, Ford versus Ferrari, the racing movie that got nominated for Best Picture. And yeah, I probably should review Ford versus Ferrari at one point. I think Ford versus Ferrari is a masterpiece. Maybe I am biased because Ford versus Ferrari came out in like the best month for movies on November 2019, the best time for movies where you got that, Knives Out, and especially Frozen 2. Yeah. But when it comes to F1, there is one man who is the reason I was anticipating this one, and that is Joseph Kosinski, coming off the heels of Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, people. Yeah, after Top Gun Maverick, which was absolutely perfect and still holds up to this very day. Joseph Kosinski has grown such a large fan base, and they believe that he will just cook in anything he's doing now, despite well, some of his other works not being thought about that much. I mean, Tron Legacy is a movie that got mixed reviews by critics. It was kind of panned, but it has a huge fan base. Olivia's Oblivion with Tom Cruise, sadly, no one talks about that one. Only the Brave as well. I think that is one of his better films. And also, yeah, Spiderhead, his previous film. We don't talk about that. But also, the trailer for this movie was what absolutely got me excited for it. Yeah, sure. There is that weird first trailer with the we will rock you." Yeah, yeah. It was a little. It was weird. It kind of didn't really do much for me because it not because of the song choice. But because of the fact that it looked unfinished and it didn't really look like a real movie. So despite I always knew that this movie existed, but then when it came to the official trailer, that was when I got on board the hype train for this movie. I mean, legitimately, not just it's Joseph Kosinski, so I'm excited no matter what it is. This is yeah, and I really love this idea of a redemptive story and a underdog story both rolled into one. But I was told that I heard that based on reviews, I heard that this is basically more of an underdog story. So yeah, and yeah, when the first reactions came out, yeah, people were praising this as the greatest racing movie of all time, and they were saying that this is the Top Gun Maverick of F1. And although they were raved, I was a little bit suspicious about it because it was just all wait, this is like Top Gun Maverick. I was thinking that are people going to criticize this for just being Top Gun Maverick 2.0 without actually uh is this movie like trying to rely? I mean, sorry, wait, let me fix what I said. Oh, is this movie like just trying to be Top Gun Maverick, like relying on capturing the success of Top Gun Maverick instead of being a movie on its own? Because let's be real here, even though we all love Top Gun Maverick and we wanted to see more movies like that, I think this movie should focus on doing its own thing rather than just relying on Top Gun Maverick for this movie's success. So yeah, but yeah, unfortunately though, yeah, this movie's rating is not as high as I expected. While this movie does have a fan base, there are some people who absolutely love it. There are those people who say that F1 is a mid film, mainly because of how it's just another generic sports movie that does nothing new and it plays itself safe. And that is all because of Edgar. No, sorry. Was that yeah, the writer who Aaron Kruger. Yeah. What the yeah. Unlike Top Gun Maverick, where there was like a whole writer crew, including good old Christopher McQuarrie. In this one, Joseph Kosinski is like the front writer, the writer in the center. So yeah, and we all know the reputation for Aaron Kruger. So yeah, now I have seen F1 twice now, last Friday and last Saturday. So now I get my chance to talk about it. So what do I think of F1, a movie? This movie is freaking awesome, man. F1 is amazing, and yeah, I now think that this is the best racing movie. Yeah, yeah, it even tops Ford versus Ferrari as my favorite racing movie of all time. Now, I'm not gonna to say like, oh, it's by far the best racing movie, no competition. I will say that this movie is on, it's rather on par with Ford versus Ferrari. More so than a movie that just, oh, this is like the number one racing movie, no competition. Heck, when I saw this movie for the first time in theaters, I didn't really call this the best racing movie. I still prefer the Ford versus Ferrari slightly more over F1, but yeah, now I think that F1 is takes a kick as the best racing movie. This movie is even better on second viewing. To me, this movie is pure adrenaline rush from start to finish, and Joseph Kosinski really cooked hard with this one, trying to recapture the magic of Top Gun Maverick. Although is his movie as good as Top Gun Maverick? No. But this would be my second favorite Joseph Kosinski movie, second only behind Top Gun Maverick. What makes it stand out from all the other racing movies is how much racing scenes there are. Usually, racing movies would have a bit of a slower pace and would contain more dialogue and character moments and racing moments. But this is packed with racing sequences, and are a hell lot of them, which is probably the most surprising thing about the film to me. I went to this movie expecting a slower pace, like more dialogue, more character moments, more, just of them explaining the plot and all that stuff. But no, the amount of racing sequences this film has is identical to the amount of racing scenes that the John Wick movies had. Yeah, that's how much there was. But it's not just the amount of racing sequences that makes the racing scene so good, and definitely the highlight of the film. The camera work used on these racing sequences is absolutely godly and feels identical to the flight sequences in Top Gun Maverick as a compliment. And like the way they were shot, like the fact that they would use real cameras to put them on cars and would have them moving, yeah. And also the sound effects too. The sound is there. Like you can really feel the realistic sound effects of these cars moving. It's absolutely just wow. And the cinema is so loud. I didn't watch this in IMAX and not even a 4DX. Although I would have loved to see this one in 4DX. This movie just works so well in. Yeah, this movie works so well. And yeah, Hans Zimmer's score is a banger too, contributing to the intensity level of the racing sequences. Oh yeah, well, what I was gonna mention about the sound, going back to that, it's really loud in the theater. It's genuinely loud as hell. And yeah, just wow. Yeah, and yeah, my favorite racing sequences, these standard racing sequences, are the last two ones, Las Vegas and Dubai. Yeah, maybe I might be biased with the Las Vegas one because I'm a sucker for Las Vegas, and and they were like, and Las Vegas also had like that breathing moment. Yeah, the Las Vegas moment was like contained like one of the movies, more brief, more characterized moments, if you know what I mean by that. Yeah, like seeing these characters hang out in Las Vegas, the casinos, and also one of my favorite scenes in the film was Sonny Hayes just looking out of the window and seeing the view of Las Vegas, like the city, and then we got Carrie Condon's character, Kate, who pretty much looks out the window. window. Yeah, I mean, if you saw a movie, you know what I mean. I'm not gonna fully explain it, but yeah, the Dubai sequence especially is the best racing scene in the film. That sequence, the final racing sequence, had my breath taken away. Like I could not hold my breath while watching the action scene, that racing scene. I was on the edge of my seat just and I was rooting for the apex team. Yeah, so yeah. Now there are other things to love about the film other than the racing sequences. So if you think if you think it's only the racing sequences that make the movie good, then that means it's bad. No, there are more to love about this. Now I would agree with other people that the story is the weakest element of the film, as it is more on the safe side, but it's still a good story regardless. I like what I mentioned earlier. I think the story would have had more benefit if Aaron Kruger's co-writers, the other writers of Top Gun Maverick, were involved, and not just Aaron Kruger himself. But although we all know how shitty Aaron Kruger's reputation he was all over the years, he has shown some improvement, especially under Kosinski's wing. Yes, I think that this is Aaron Kruger's best work yet, but that's mainly because I don't think that Aaron Kruger did much to contribute to Top Gun Maverick. So yeah, does the story copy a lot of sports movies? Yes, it does. But the sports movies that I see this as similar to are the ones that I dislike. One example of that is Cars 3. Not because it's a racing movie, but it's where it's a movie about redemption and second chances. About how, like in Cars 3, Lightning McQueen had suffered a fatal crash where he almost died. So he quit racing. But then he turns out he had to he was being trained by this car who also needed a redemption story. The car that coached McQueen ended up being the one on the race and ended up winning. Yeah, that's pretty much F1 is. And then you got Nexo wins also. The main character being hired to train the underdog, the loser, train him into becoming a winner, like mentoring him. Yeah, and that's what makes the writing good to me. It copies the sports movies that I don't like and makes a better version of it. As an underdog story, it stands out from the rest of the underdogs. JP, JP, the underdog of the film, Damson Idris' character, isn't as much of a loser as any other underdog characters from underdog sports movies. He wasn't really struggling too much on racing. What he needed to do is just be more likable. And that's actually what I like about this film's character development. It's more so about turning unlikable characters into likable characters instead of turning winners into losers. Well, the latter is still part of the film, but just carried by the former. And yeah, so throughout the film, yeah, Sonny and JP were enemies. They both hated each other's guts. And they're both like constantly trying to sabotage each other. But as it turns out, Sonny's biggest problem is that he doesn't know how to work well with a team, and JP is just arrogant and not likable. So throughout the movie, they progress into getting along well and becoming like teammates who support each other. What's interesting about this film to me is how the movie was setting itself up to make JP the rootable character, while as Sonny was there. Sonny's main goal into getting back into the world of F1 is to help JP and his team win the grand Formula One event. But as it turns out, it's actually a redemption story of Sonny and him finally accomplishing what he messed up all those years ago because of the accident. It's more of a redemption story than an underdog story. And at the end, it was JP did not win, but it was Sonny who won the grand race, and yet JP still was happy for Sonny, not because Sonny beat him, but because like Sonny won for the whole team. And yeah, that was a great that was such a bold idea to like make you like think that it's gonna end with JP winning the race because of his redemption, because of it he's an underdog. But no, yeah. The cast ensemble and characters are still are really good. Yeah, this is Brad Pitt's best performance of the decade so far, and I'm not sure how he can top this like later on. Yeah, yeah, Damson Idris is great as well, and I would be down to see him as Black Panther and Black Panther 3. You can feel the Black Panther DNA in this guy. He fit well. At first, I was not keen on Javier Bardem. I felt like he was a little bit of a miscast. But on rewatch, he certainly grew on me. Although he is still the weakest of the cast, Carrie Condon is a standout of the film. And this is hands down her best performance yet. Yeah, sure, it's not an Oscar-worthy performance like her in Banshees of Inisherin, but just a performance from her that I personally love the most. Yes, even over Banshees of Inisherin. Oh, and also this movie has a kick-ass soundtrack as well. It's not just Hans Zimmer's score that carries, but also the use of licensed IP music, like as in classic musics. Yeah, that was great. Love how they put we will rock you." Yeah, kind of a shame they didn't include the chain, the Guardians 2 song. Yeah, that song was in the trailer, but it didn't make the film. But oh well. So overall, F1 the movie is a film that just gets better the more I think about it. It is quite frankly the best racing movie ever, even if it's on par with Ford versus Ferrari. Now comparing this one to Ford versus Ferrari, I would say Ford versus Ferrari has better writing and characters. Yeah, more rootable characters. Although yes, Carrie Condon's character Kate is probably the best character in the racing movie. But when it comes to like the actual racers, Christian Bale's character is just better than Brad Pitt. Um, yeah. But yeah. F1 is better than Ford versus Ferrari when it comes to the racing sequences and the technical techniques. Yeah, how I wish this movie got more love than it did. Yeah, like what I said, there are people who love this movie like me, but then you got the ones who call this mid, criticizing the film for its same story, hollow characters, and excessive product placement. And yes, guys, there are some product placements in this film, but I did not mind it. So that said, guys, with that said, I'm gonna give F1 a 5 stars out of 5, a flawless movie. So yeah, this would be my third favorite movie of June 2025. Yeah, I think you could probably guess which two movies of this month are on top. So also for my review of F1 the movie, what are your thoughts on the movie if you have seen it? Um, would you agree with me that this is the best racing movie ever? Do you love this movie, but you can think of better racing movies, or were you not a fan of this one? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my review on K-pop Demon Hunters, as well as my trailer reactions for The Running Man and The Cat in the Hat. So yeah, bye guys.